So for the next part of our series here, we're going to have a fireside chat. And Louise Jones Miles was not able to be here today, but Jacqueline Montero will be joining us on the panel. And we're really going to talk about leadership and self-care, because it's so hard, right? Like, I'm in a leadership role. I chose to be an owner of an agency, and I'm a mother, so I think I'm like in middle management. Like, I'm helping family, my parents, right? I'm helping my parents, I'm helping my children, and these individuals are all doing something very similar, where they have to play different roles in different parts of their lives, and they're in leadership, but they have to prioritize themselves. And we have to be intentional in the way that we do that. I have to get up every day and do stretches because I have sciatica after my last son, okay? And it's not because of my son, right? It's a welcome byproduct of, actually, my son made me focus on me. So we need to remember that those moments of clarity are not necessarily because of something, but a need that was there. So I'm really excited for Annette Brown, Takesha Shields, and Jacqueline Montero to join us. So I will ask you to do maybe a 1-minute intro of each of you. I know we have your bios, but we'd love to hear your voice. And then we'll ask you some questions about your leadership and self-care.
Okay. My name is Annette Brown. I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised in Staten Island. I now live in Albany, upstate. A mother of 4. My firstborn son was murdered December 9th, will be 11 years. Last year, I founded Parents of Angel Children. It's spelled a little wrong up there. Parents of Angel Children, which is a nonprofit organization based out of Albany that started a support group 84 weeks ago. And we reach mothers in Canada, across this country. And we're doing an open house on our building this Saturday.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Again, Jacqueline from Women Strong Recovery and Wellness Coaching. I'm a mother of 3, 26 and 3. And like I said, a woman in long-term recovery from substance use disorder. And I've spent the last 10 years really creating space for women and for us to like heal together, to know that we do recover, especially women of color, right? When we're not talking about the spaces that we're allowed to be in or that we have access to, that they're not telling us that we can heal and we can do it together. And because of that, like my mother has 9 years sober, right? So those are the kind of things that we're doing in this work, where we're like speaking up, we're using our voice, we're getting in proximity, we're getting uncomfortable, and we're doing real work in the field, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Give it up for Jacqueline.
Hello, everyone. My name is Takesha Shields, Miss TK. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. My organization is Mothers Against Gang Violence. It has been established since 2017. I'm also a mother of 4 sons. A little history is like different. My middle son is incarcerated, serving a 20-year sentence, 10 years, 10 out. And I advocate with families that, in reference to both sides of the violence, bringing a solution to loved ones who have lost their, families who have lost their loved ones due to violence and due to gang activities, but also helping families complete the justice systems and the requirements to re-enter back into the society. Yeah. And I'll allow you all to ask any questions. My son went in at the age of 17. He turned 25 last Sunday. I walk in advocacy of not feeling guilty, but teaching families how to renew the decisions that their youth and their loved ones have made. So, yes, that's me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll open up with a question, and then we'll have the audience questions for our panel. How are you intentionally saying no?
I've actually just learned that because, again, like I stated, it's been 8 years or 9 years that my son has been incarcerated. And I developed family engagement. And so I've been doing family engagement every Monday for 9 years straight since my son has been incarcerated. And so how I deal with that is the families that I work with, I trust that they're able to advocate. And so bring them to trainings and bring them to different conferences, meet individuals like you all and bring them to the city to be able to educate so that I can support you on the piece that you bring, and you know, it releases tension on me as well.
How are you intentionally saying no? Because as Centauria would say, no is a complete sentence.
I just had to learn how to say no. Because I was yes, 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 yes until I got burnt out. And it wasn't until I just came back from a retreat the last week of September. And after being in the mountains and my retreat, I came back a different person. And I'm sorry if I'm hurt your feelings, but no. It's just that simple.
I really feel like no, it is a full sentence, but also like you don't have to show up to every single thing. You don't have to be in every single room. I think being intentional about where you are and where you're showing up is important. And like for, Desiree asked me last week, and like, so for me, it was like, am I supposed to be in this space, right? Like, is this a good space for me to be? Like, do I say yes or no? And so it's like everything that I do is with intention and knowing that if I'm not in that room, I'm not missing anything, right? So
We don't have FOMO around here. God guides our footsteps. So now we're going to go to the audience to ask you questions about your leadership and how you are remaining true to yourself and being able to prioritize self-care.
TK.
Keisha, your son is 10 in, 10 out. I'm assuming he's going to get out. How do you deal with families where the son or daughter has life without the possibility of parole?
So how I work with families, because we work with the U.S. Attorney Office, and we have credible messengers, individuals, and a lot of times life without parole is through prayer. Some individuals with life without parole do have the opportunity to get out by the grace of God. But you have to mentally prepare that family through counseling, through support, to understand the real. What were the charges? Is your child ready to come home? Because a lot of times people ask, what are your expectations of your son when they come home? And I was like, I can't say no, because when they're incarcerated, and it's the truth, that anybody gonna tell you anything you wanna hear to come home. It's what they do when they actually get home, and that's a person with life. So, to be honest, do they deserve to come home? So you have to work with the families with the realistic expectations. You have to be willing to accept whatever decision is made because of the consequences, and you have to mentally prepare your mental to accept what comes with that, with the family. So that's what we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
So, Takesha, I was wondering, as we go through the healing process, everything is action, and there are legalized actions that you can incorporate into it, like the Innocence Project. Is it something that you've got an attorney to look into it for you with the advancement in testing, DNA testing, a lot of things? The Innocence Project has got a lot of judgments overturned, and especially young people who may have grown most of their lives behind bars. Behind bars, they come out. So the Innocence Project is something that I was just wondering whether you've thought about that, or is something that anybody has brought to your attention.
And I be so for real when I talk to the families. I do work with the Innocent Project, you know, in understanding the truth. You know, every innocent person is not innocent. And my son, what he did, he committed. And he say, Mom, it's not your fault. And when I work with the families, and I tell the families every day, working with you give me the hope that, you know, and the support that I'm gonna need when my son comes home. My son he was 17 when he went in, he's 25, he's a grown man. So, you know, he'll listen to Mom, I love you. But at the time, he's not gonna listen right there like, I wanna get a job, because he's gonna be trying to figure out what freedom looks like, what the world looks like. You know, he may listen for that first week. You get what I'm saying? So when I'm working with some of the families and I'm getting support letters and I'm getting things, I'm like, man, you're not getting that for your child. I know my child. So you advocate for what's right. And even though it's my son, I'm not gonna advocate for what's gonna bring me stress. Because a lot of times we have to look at, some people re-enter. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm at peace, mentally. So if it's meant for the Justice Project, you know, to get him that innocence, then I listen to God and I will go get those letters. But I do work with youth. I bury families every day. I advocate for families every day. I go to court for families every day. I had a mother that text me today, his son probably see me go out, and she was like, my son had an overdose and they're storing me in the jail and da-da-da. And I said, what is your son asking for in jail? I tell families the real. If your son go into that incarceration with an addiction, that addiction is stopped because he got locked up that day. And drugs are inside the prisons and inside. So if your son go in with a habit and he asks for something, the people want what is, you know, is of them. So your children will extort you. So we will go out and we will run the world and we will run the streets and we will do all the things to ask for that innocence to be heard again. And that's traumatic. So I advocate for the families in the community with support of our other families, but I advocate for what's true.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes. We have. Hold on one second.
My question is for Jackie, I think it is. Okay. Did you said that your mom is also recovering as well. Can you just kind of share what that relationship is like and how you help each other?
Yeah, thank you for that, because I think it's a big part. We need to see that families do recover together. And so when I came into recovery, you know, she followed me. And it looks different. It looks different now. When I came in, I swore she was 50 years old and she couldn't, get well. And someone said, you don't know what God has in store for her. And that changed everything, because I no longer put my expectations of what I was doing on her. And I just continued in my walk. And I think this is an action program. A lot of, we walking by action, we're walking by faith, and it's looked different over the 9 years. We've had to have a lot of restoration, and through that, turning that relationship, right, like that mother-daughter relationship, back into like what that also should look like as a mother and a daughter. And now, even last year, it changed again, where we both came into our walk with Christ on a different level, but like together we did that, right? And it was like we're both respecting each other's walk, but knowing that we are changing the narrative. We talked about that, changing the narrative of what was before and what is in future.
Yeah. Thank you.
To say. No, I was saying, it's not a question, it's really a comment. TK, I just want to say that what you're doing is remarkable. And I just love the fact that you bringing the truth, like you keeping it 100% real. And someone said it before about forgiveness, because when I went to the sentencing for the young man who took Tyler's life, I told him that I forgave him, and I really did, because, and I do, because I feel like I watch his mother every day going through the same thing I'm going through the trial. My son may be gone, but he's gone incarcerated. He was only 18. And it's so crazy that I went on a walk, and I met a young lady who worked with him in Rikers, and she said, I can't, divulge everything we spoke about, but I just want you to know that he's very remorseful. And that meant so much to me, to the point where I was trying to actually get to speak to him before, but that didn't work out. But I just admire what you're doing, and I would really like to stay in touch.
Thank you so much. So this will be our last comment or question.
Thank you, and thank each of you. You know, what we do, it's hard. You know, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So when it comes to a point when it gets hard, when that devil starts to talk loud, what type of things do you go through? What do you go through to get through that hard place so you don't go back to that hard place? What are some tools that you use to get to that good place again?
Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer.
Absolutely.
Everything I bring to him in prayer. And he's put people in our lives that can help us when it's hard. Because there was a time when nobody understands how hard this is. But we have to speak up and let people know this is hard, and God puts the people in our life that can help us on this journey. But everything, I give it to the Lord in prayer.
Thank you. Do you want to add?
I wanted to add, it's hard sitting here now. Because even though I didn't commit anything, but as a parent, I feel like the perpetrator. But again, the support and having, like you say, having the village. What my friend? Is she still in here? When we talked about like the single parents and the village, we said that in the group we was in. It's like I don't feel myself as a single person because I have a village. I have a village when I come to Boston. I have a village when I'm in Atlanta. I have a village when I'm in Chicago. I have a village when I'm in Atlanta. So I have a village to say things like you is that I'm proud of you. And sometimes you got to say you're proud of yourself for standing up and taking accountability.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that I go back and still counseling. I still take therapy to the day. And I always tell our families that even when I went through the judicial system, even though the services, and I'm not going to say it, the service may not have worked for my son at the time because he was still accountable for his sentence, but I had 3 other sons that never went to prison. One got a full scholarship ride, accounting major. 21-year-old standing his own. He's a father. He got a granddaughter doing great thing, and he advocate with the younger kids. So he get the siblings before I get him. Like, Mom, I got his brother. He hopping out the porch. You got the oldest, and I got the younger. What can we do together? But because he was all at the court days with me, he was all at the prison sentence with me. So prayer first, my support first, and listening to my sons who walked that path with me to not go and duplicate what one did.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause to our panel. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
And I just want to say, as I was sitting here, I lost my uncle when I was 15, and my grandmother has passed since, but I felt like you guys were the voice for my grandmother that never had any chance to have my uncle's voice spoken for. And
beautiful.
You guys doing this work is so impactful. And I feel like even though they're both up there, that this is an opportunity, right, to honor them in this space. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So as we come to a close, I want to thank you all again, but I also want to leave every single one of you with a couple of things to think about before I pass it over to Amanda. Ask yourself, because at the end of the day, nothing else matters when we're no longer here, right? So when we get to the point of transitioning, you want to ask yourself, did I love well? Did I live fully? And did I learn to let go? Those are the three things we need to ask ourselves every day, right? And ask God. And I also want to say that we know the history, and we know our history speaks to our present. And until we deal with our history, we can't recover. So despite our history trying to be erased, it never will be. We won't allow it. And I also want to say that injustice only prevails in hopelessness. So stay hopeful, and thank you.